Welcome back, everybody, to another thrilling episode of Programming with Coach 2J. This is your host, Jeremy Jones, and we're here to talk about the competition or the mental toughness context. This is mental toughness. So the idea here is that remember, we have our practice context and we have our competition context. So what else is there? Well, about every 1 in every 10 workouts, so less than once a week, we're going to see the mental toughness come up, and this is one of the most important areas for growth for people, because we're going to challenge their comfort zones. And so what does toughness mean? Well, another word for toughness might be resilience, and the idea is to be able to withstand stressors. And so we already are doing this with our training physically, but how can we withstand stressors mentally or emotionally? And so it's not always just taking ourselves to a physical discomfort zone and kind of seeing where our boundaries are and where we lie, but it also is kind of our mental and emotional. So for example, when it's a mental toughness day, I may have just open up a conversation about mental toughness and say, when did you see somebody else exhibit mental toughness that you know personally or that you know professionally? When was a time that you were at work and you had to exhibit a lot of mental toughness to not just yell at somebody or punch them in the face? These conversations about kind of willpower and pushing ourselves to do things that we didn't necessarily want to do but we knew were good for us. Those are great conversations about mental toughness. When was the last time you had to resist a temptation, like for food or something else, something like that? And you can have these conversations while you're doing the mobility, and that could be the mental toughness assignment for the day. Another time that I like to talk about a lot is, when did you realize that your ego had gotten you into trouble? Or when did you realize that you had to force your ego aside to let someone help you, or to acknowledge that you had messed up and that you had to apologize? You can see these are all areas where a lot of people tend to struggle, and they kind of nowadays in our society, people kind of just wander through their lives and they're not thinking these deeper thoughts. And by having these conversations with each other, not only does it build community, but it also makes us be more self-aware. And ultimately, this is one of the most important things about training, is we're trying to create self-awareness. We want to know our abilities in the gym performance-wise. We want to know our abilities, joint health and kind of tissue-wise. And we also want to know our abilities when it comes to temptation, our ego, and all those other things. So that's really where the mental toughness comes in from a conversation standpoint. And how we can apply mental toughness to our workouts is usually pretty straightforward. Don't pace. So if you really want to see what you're made of and how you handle a stressor, you can have people do a really healthy warm-up, really aggressive warm-up before the Metcon, and then it's like, go for it, right? And then what'll happen is, after a round or two, the people are going to start to see what they can do, right? And so then the mental toughness might be, okay, I need to slow down, or how do I break this up to keep having good form? Because that's the most important thing. Even on mental toughness days, form is still important. It could be, don't pace the first few rounds, and then just keep grinding it out as much as you can without resting. Mental toughness might be saying, I'm going to do these rounds unbroken. So that might mean you have to stop before the next round so that you can finish the next round unbroken. Another mental toughness thing might be, okay, today's workout has some pretty scary movements, but talk to your coach and find out, and let's see where you're at. Is it a rope climb workout and you're scared of heights? Is it a workout where you're concerned about that load or that movement? And how can you approach that with to grow in your character by challenging yourself and taking yourself out of your comfort zone, and building more mental toughness. So this workout here is actually just a 6-minute AMRAP. And so most people always think mental toughness is the long workouts, and that's true. The vast majority of the 25, 35-minute workouts, they're going to require mental toughness to keep going. The difference is that a lot of people will do those workouts, and it's actually a form of scaling. The longer workouts, a lot of times, people they like them because they don't have to go hard. They can just sort of like keep moving, and they kind of keep the same pace, and they kind of go numb after a while, and then they just sort of sort of finish, and they really like the endorphin high, and they like the fact they didn't have to think. Well, that's not mental toughness. If it's a long workout, you've got to go hard in the beginning, and then you have to keep pushing yourself on the red line, right? So one of my favorite videos about mental toughness is the Navy SEAL 40% rule. And what it is it says the first time your brain says, like, I'm done, I can't go any further, or like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know if I can keep going, that's when you're only 40% of your true ability to keep going. You're not even halfway of your real ability. If you had to, if your life was on the line or someone else's life was on the line that you loved, you could go more than double what you just did. And so kind of finding where those lines are, you don't have to, we're not telling you to go that far, but what we're saying is find where the thoughts first start in your mind, and start interrupting you. Other mental toughness things are, asking for help, so like in a team workout, asking for help and knowing when to have your teammates step in and not trying to just grind it out because you don't want to let them down. That's exposing vulnerability. Other mental toughness things are scaling when you don't want to, right? And your ego is telling you to do the RX, but your shoulder's been bothering you, and having the wherewithal to say, you know what, I know I can do this, but it's probably not going to be good for me in the long run, so I'm going to do a different version or a lighter load because I'm trying to be smarter. That's mental toughness. It's not just about always driving ourselves physically. In this workout, it's such a simple one. We're doing dumbbell thrusters and heavy Russian swings. If you really do a good healthy warm up, maybe a couple half rounds, so you do like 3 thrusters, 6 swings for 2 or 3 rounds. Take a minute, catch your breath, get some chalk, and then you slam this one hard from 3, 2, 1, go. It is a brutal workout that definitely will challenge yourself from a mental toughness aspect. I've got another one here, which was this one I mentioned, I think, on the overview video, 10 power clean and jerks and run as far as possible. So in this case, it's like, okay, don't pace the clean and jerks so you can run good. Grind the clean and jerks out. Now, form is still important, but we know that on competition days and mental toughness days, we're going to be riding the line of is this good or is this bad. We don't demand that they be every single rep be absolutely perfect. We just want to make sure that they start off perfect and they maintain a very high quality, and then toward the end of a set or the end of a workout we start to see it slip. So they push themselves on this clean and jerk. That first 400 meters or first 200 meter run is going to be really hard, for a lot of people. And then the same thing goes for the run. If you come out of the gym running hard, that's going to make the rest of the workout not as easy, right? You're not going to get your best score, but you're going to have to mentally push yourself through this workout and try to get that best score. So I just threw a lot of ideas out there for mental toughness, but I just wanted to point out that because this is only 1/10 of the time, 10% of our workouts, when these do come up, you absolutely need to talk about it. Don't ignore the mental toughness days. Talk about mental toughness. Talk about ego and vulnerability, and talk about resilience and follow through on things, and talk about pushing yourself to the limit and finding out what you're made of. And because this is one of the areas where people can really grow in their character, and it's something that we can help people with through this training and through our classes. That's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.